Geno Auriemma chuckles when told he's still a villain to some Tennessee fans. Weird, he deadpans. Once, he leaned into the role. The rivalry with Tennessee demanded it. But now, at 70, Auriemma seems indifferent. Time has dulled the edge of what was once the fiercest battle in women's basketball. The sport grew. Other powers emerged. TV ratings no longer hinge on UConn and Tennessee. If orange-clad fans in Knoxville still see him as the villain, so be it. I just represent what isn't copacetic for the people in Knoxville, Auriemma says. But I'm on a long list of villains, so I feel pretty good about it. That presence, polarizing as ever, keeps embers of the old rivalry glowing. His 17-9 record against Tennessee, including 6 wins in Knoxville, fuels the resentment. 13 of those victories came against Pat Summitt. Because we dared to come in there and win, we become the villains, he says. This chapter of the series is winding down. UConn and Tennessee meet Thursday, their 5th matchup in 6 years. The Lady Vols travel to Connecticut next season, but beyond that, the future is unclear. The Big East schedule expansion complicates non-conference games, and Auriemma acknowledges that Tennessee's staff may decide it's not worth continuing. The golden era of the rivalry, he says, was a battle for the mountaintop. UConn and Tennessee clashed up to 3 times a season, their roster stacked with future WNBA stars. It was Summitt's relentless discipline against Auriemma's ruthless innovation. She was the Southern pioneer of gender equity and dominance. He, the Italian-American interloper, who crashed the party and kept winning. Their feud burned hot. Summitt once stopped scheduling UConn, later writing that she had concerns about their recruiting methods. Auriemma offered a different take, saying in 2007, "She hates my guts." Time softened that rift. When she was diagnosed with early-onset Alzheimer's, Auriemma was the first coach to donate to the Pat Summitt Foundation. She retired in 2012 and passed away in 2016. Auriemma still reflects on those years, battles, the tension, and the respect that was sometimes buried beneath rivalry. It was a unique time, he says. A fun time. A stressful time. Every emotion you can imagine. His sharpest memory? The sheer talent. If there were 30 great players in America, 10 of them were on the floor in the Tennessee-Connecticut game all the time, he says. All the time. The worst part? When it became personal. It wasn't Tennessee versus UConn anymore. It was Geno versus Pat. And that sucked, he says. Fans fueled it. Players fueled it. Even former Lady Vols still hold grudges. I think Geno's an ass, Abby Conklin once said. Some in Knoxville still agree. But Auriemma insists not everyone does. There's a bar he visits when he's in town. They love me there, he says. I'm not a villain everywhere.